Good morning. Thank you for joining us today and for joining us online. My name is Lieutenant Jill Frankfurth. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Minnesota State Patrol. We're here today to announce a reward in the fatal hit-and-run crash that occurred on November 13th that killed Dr. Cathy Donovan. Today, you will hear from Mille County Sheriff Kyle Burton, Dr. Donovan's family members, her father, George Donovan, Sister Robin Councilman, her son, Sean Donovan, and Colonel Matt Langer, Chief of the Minnesota State Patrol. We will have time for questions at the end, but please remember this is an active and ongoing investigation.
Morning, everyone. Thanks for being here with us this morning and taking the time to listen. My name is Kyle Burton. I'm the sheriff of Mille County. And what I'd like to talk about is just the impact that this has had on our community. We're a small county, about 27,000 people. And Dr. Donovan was well known in our county. For over 20 years, she practiced medicine. She's personally been my doctor on several occasions. And so this has had a huge hit to our community. Almost every single first responder that came to this scene personally knew her, so that was very difficult for them. And I guess my ask of the community at this point as we move into the holidays, somebody's been keeping a secret since the 13th of November. Somebody knows something. You need to come forward. Dr. Donovan's family is going to have to spend their first Christmas without her. And think about that as you spend time with your loved ones this Christmas season as we move into the new year. So if you know something, please come forward and do the right thing. At this time, I'm going to introduce Dr. Donovan's father, George, to come up and say a few words. Mr. Donovan.
I am George Donovan, Cathy's dad. And I'm here with I'm having a hard time accepting the fact that Cathy is dead. She'll never be on the other end of the telephone. I can't do it. Would you read?
I'll read it for you.
You got your own.
She will never be on the other end of the phone again. Never on our weekly family Zoom get-togethers or family events. I cannot get my head around how anybody can drive off and leave someone in the road to die. I know Cathy cannot be replaced, but knowing why might help. My wife Shirley, Cathy's mom, and I were looking forward to starting to travel with Cathy now that Sean had graduated from NDSU. And now that will never happen. Please help law enforcement find Cathy's killer.
Thank you. And I'll never hear Cathy say, "Hello, dear old dad."
I'm Robin Councilman. I'm speaking as Cathy's twin sister. As the person who's on this planet who's known her the longest, from 8 months before we were born. However, I've also been asked to speak for those family members who are not in Minnesota today and could not be here. And after I speak, I must share some words directly from my niece, Cathy's daughter, her oldest, Joy. 1 month ago, on November 13th, at approximately 4:30 p.m., someone took the life of our mother, daughter, sister, niece on Highway 169 between Onamia and Cathio. That person, who we have chosen to believe did this accidentally as a result of poor choices from behind the wheel of a car, changed our lives irrevocably. From that moment on, there will be a hole in our family. A mother who will not get to hold her first grandbaby or watch her children build their own lives and careers and families. A sister who won't get to continue to run with and cheer on her sisters. A twin who will no longer be there to celebrate our birthdays together and to compete as to which one of us found the most funny birthday card for the other one. We had already picked out our 60th birthday cake that we wanted our children to make for us, and that day will never come for her. An aunt who will never get to see her niece or nephew graduate from high school, college, or grad school, and who won't get to cheer them on as they go forth and try to change this world for the better. A niece who won't get to continue her weekly talks with her beloved Aunt Joy and offer often unwanted medical advice. A dog and a cat and 3 cats who are now having to adjust to new homes. My fellow doctor sister who won't be on the other end of a help me stay sane text in the midst of a crazy clinic day when I just want the encouragement of someone who shares the joys, sorrows, and craziness of being a family doctor. Knowing who took Cathy from us will not fill that hole in our family. However, it will keep us from wondering how and why this happened, what choices led to her death. It will stop us from wondering if that car that's driving too fast behind us or is coming at us while we take our own runs or walks is the same one who killed Cathy. This won't make us whole, but it will help us to find some peace in a horrible situation. We know that someone knows who killed Cathy. The person who killed her and my lovely niece, Hound Sunny. They know they're the person responsible for their death. However, none of us live in a vacuum. Someone knows of a person who was driving that route and now has unexpected damage or an unexpected repair to their car. Someone knows someone who was traveling up 169 that afternoon and did not arrive when and where they were expected. Someone knows someone who's been acting very unusual for the last month, because we have no doubt that while our lives were changed forever on November 13th, so was the person who took her life. We are hoping and praying that this reward will give someone the courage to come forward and lead us to the person who killed Cathy. Finding that person in a timely manner is not going to fill the hole in our family. However, it may help stop my niece from having nightmares and start to heal. It may help me stop freezing every time I have to cross a very busy intersection to and from work each day, and wondering if my life will also be considered disposable by someone on that road. We have no doubt that law enforcement will find the person who killed Cathy. But we are hoping that by offering that reward, that day will come sooner, so that we can start focusing on healing and not fear what new information is coming with the next ring of our cell phones, keeping our trauma at the forefront. Cathy lived a life of compassion and integrity, and we are asking that the public demonstrate that same compassion and integrity as we seek the person who killed her. My niece Joy asked me to read her statement. I will try my best. As hard as this loss has been for me, the pain of seeing my niece and nephew is even harder. But these are Joy's words. I keep hoping it will get easier, but every day it feels like there's an unbearable ache in my chest. I think about all the things my mom will miss and the things I'll never get to share with her. Grandkids. She would have made an amazing grandma, one who fed them too much candy and took them to the zoo. Traveling to her 50th state, Hawaii, celebrating my and my brother's adoption days, and Joy's adoption day is this week. We've only had 23 and 18 short years with her, but what I'll miss most are those little things, having a good laugh together, asking her advice, medical and non-medical, sharing new foods we've discovered, watching Gilmore Girls together. I'm not angry at whoever killed my mother, just incredibly heartbroken. I want the nightmares of how my mom died to end. I want the sudden, uncontrollable sobbing fits to end. I want my family to find closure. Please, if you have information, come forward.
Hi, I'm Sean Donovan. I'm the youngest. My mom was a hero to me in every aspect part of my life. Mom was the best thing that ever happened to me. I started off my life a little bit on a disadvantage. I was born with one arm. abandoned as a 1-year-old, placed in an orphanage in China with thousands of other kids. And then along came my mom. She adopted me. She showed me what it was like to be loved and accepted and what a family was. I had the opportunity to grow up with someone who showed me what resilience was. I grew up being a 3-sport athlete, valedictorian, and a role model for others because of her. I had a lot going against me, but Mom helped me through it all. She supported me, and now she's gone. I want to describe what it was like hearing the first call. I was working in Fargo as an ambulance, on the ambulance as an EMT. And I had responded to a lot of calls, all sorts of different situations. And there was one call that was a lot like this that I never thought I would have to go through on the other end. She was the on-call doc that night, so we were both doing what we loved, which was helping other people. Mind you, hearing the voice of a Fargo PD scared me a lot. Not because I knew what could have been on the other end of that call, but because when he mentioned my mom, that hurt a lot. I knew right instant what it was going to be like. I had to quit my job that night, knowing I wanted to help others. I wanted to continue, but I couldn't. Not only that, I had to quit my job entirely at healthcare. I wanted to help everybody else. I wanted to be there. But now I'm struggling a lot right now. The worst thing you have to do is being the first one, the youngest one, to hear this information, and then having to call my sister and then my aunt next. Yeah, it sucks. I was only 2 hours into my schedule, hours, working on the ambulance. But I can tell you it's one of the worst feelings, not only having to quit that job, but also having to say goodbye to your mom one last time. The last conversation I had with my mom was that night before. I had visited home because I hadn't gone home for about three weeks, and I wanted to say hi to my mom. I was struggling a lot with other things in my life in Fargo. But everybody knows you go to your mom or you go to your dad when you're struggling. They have all the information to help you with things. But the last thing I said to my mom was, I can't wait to work with you in 3 years alongside you. I just got into PA school with the help of my mom. And now that's gone, so yeah, I'm hurting a lot.
So good morning. My name is Matt Langer, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as Chief of the State Patrol. And I kind of have two messages today. The first one is to the Donovan family. On behalf of the State Patrol, on behalf of the Sheriff's Office and the Mille Tribal PD, these cases drive us. They stick with us. And I know the people that are behind me, and this will be with them forever. And they will not stop looking for who did this, trying to find who did this, trying to hold anyone accountable who was connected to this, because it's the right thing to do. Your resolve, your resilience, it's powerful, and everyone in Minnesota needs to hear from you, so thanks for putting yourself out there today. The other message I have is what the sheriff said to begin with. Someone out there knows something, and for us, all we need is one phone call, one email, one anonymous text that gets to the right place, because our goal today is to find the vehicle that was involved that then leads us to the driver of that vehicle. And so there's really two messages. First is, if it was you who was driving and you were involved, the right thing to do is to get this off your chest and to come forward. That's the right thing to do. And if you were aware of it, if you were a passenger, if your relative was driving, if you think your coworker might have been driving, if you saw a vehicle, if you repaired a vehicle, if you sold a part for someone to a vehicle that may have been involved, we want to also hear from you. So if you were the driver, come forward. Now's the time. Get this off your chest. Let us figure out exactly what happened. And if you're not the driver, but you know something, again, one thing is all we need to get us on the path to figure out who exactly was involved and which vehicle was involved. There's now $10,000 available. So if doing the right thing doesn't motivate you and money motivates you on top of it, thanks to the generosity of the family and others, $10,000 reward available if it puts us on the path to finding out who was responsible. You can see on the screen we've got a phone number and an email address. You can go to that. You can go to the sheriff's office. You can go to Tribal PD. You can tell a friend to call us. There's so many ways to get information to us, but somebody knows something, and the right thing to do is to come forward. On behalf of the family, the State Patrol, the Sheriff's Office, and the Tribal PD, we'll get there, but we need that one call, that one text, that one email to get us on the right track. We'll stand for any questions, also recognizing that it's an open and active investigation, so talking about a lot of detail will be difficult.
Two questions. Do you know how many tips you've gotten so far? And then I'm just looking back at your Twitter. I remember you tweeted out this photo. Can you talk about this car and what you may or may not know to the best of your ability?
So I'll handle that. Great question. The question is, how many tips have we received and the photo with the car? So the tips continue to pour in. This team behind me is super active, serving search warrants, getting data, working with crime analysts. So we're actively working on this, and we have information. We're coming after who was involved, but to get us there faster, we'd like one piece of information to come in. Oftentimes there are photographs of vehicles that we think may involved, and that could be right, but it could be wrong. So our message today is sort of to refresh. If you think that you were involved, give us a call. If you think you know someone who might have been involved, to give us a call. But the goal today is really to elevate this case that is only a month old, to refresh it in the public's eye, to hear from the family, and we hope that that our team is deluged with tips and emails and phone calls. We hope that we're overrun with it. That's our goal.
Sounds like you're not starting from a place of you don't have anything to go off of. Like you just hope that this press conference, getting this out there, tips the scale and helps you find the linchpin.
The question is sort of, we don't have, I'll put the words in your mouth, we don't have exactly what we're looking for yet, but we're hoping this news conference elevates it. I think that's the right way to say it. If we knew which vehicle was involved or which driver may have been involved, we'd be pursuing that. Right now we have a wide net with many tips and a ton of data, and we're working through that data, and it will take time. So we have information that we are working toward finding who did this, but today we're really hoping for that one clue that puts us in a more specific direction. I just want to close with, everyone up here has done this job for a really long time, and so it still hits us, but to hear from the family, I think is really, really important. And I would like to, as the sheriff of Mille County, just give the sheriff an opportunity for one last word, because I know this has hit their community really hard, and our team's really close, and that no one's closer than the sheriff's office. So, Sheriff.
Yeah, and again, to kind of echo back on what the colonel just said, it took a lot of courage for these folks to get up here in front of these cameras in Minnesota and probably nationally and share what's in their hearts right now. And so my heart breaks for them. Again, this hit my community very hard because she was so well known amongst many people, not just folks in the law enforcement profession. But again, somebody knows something, and our hope is that somebody just does the right thing. And now there's more motivation on the table to do that. But these folks back here are hurting. And I hope folks, if you take nothing away from today, you see that and consider that if you're on the fence about whether or not to share something. So, thank you.